Okay, today on the bench we've got a Canon 2D1 like a thread mount rangefinder. This is the second one I've done. The first one had a totally detached curtain. This one seems to be working great, aside from the condition of this curtain is unacceptable. So we're going to strip it down. We will clean and lube what needs to be cleaned and lubed. And we're going to put on some new shutter curtains. I'm going to first start with the slow speed mechanism. Human slime up in there. And oh, it screws off. Yeah, there we go. I remember that from, I don't know, minutes ago when I finished the last one. Let me put this tiny ass screw back in. Alright, I found it and put it back in. Did not need 5 minutes of video of me looking around my desk for where that went to. Okay, that guy comes off, and then we've got this collar here. I think probably the best thing to take this off would be a point divider. Cannot find mine at the moment, but a steel tweezer will work. Come on, baby. There's the collar, there's the adjustment knob, then we've got the spring. This one's coming. Okay, there's that clip spring, then we've got these 3 screws. Okay, there's those 3 screws in that thing, and underneath it there's this plate. And then the last thing is this one screw here in the body. Okay, you can see all those. I'm going to put them all together in this thing. The next thing I'm going to do is just take off this lens mount. Interesting. Okay, so what have we got? We do have a milled 12 o'clock position to go over that guy, and then here's what we're going to do. We're going to write on the faces of these. Boop. This is 9 o'clock. This is what, 6, 7 o'clock, 7:30. And then, is that a shim or it's just polished? That is a shim. Okay, this is at 10 o'clock. Okay. I do not think my Sharpie writing will appreciatively change the thickness of my infinity focus shims here. Okay, there we go. Alright, what's next? Oops. Okay, interesting. On the IVSB, it had 2 of these double nuts left and right. This one just seems to have 1 double nut on the bottom. I'll put that with the lens mount. I'm going to remove the base and this guy. Now, I guess let's drop the body. I'm going to take off these 3 screws in the back. 1, 2. I do like working on these, but it's a little annoying, 3, that you have to do so much disassembly to test a shutter. Not that, okay, these 3 screws up across the top, they mirror the back ones. in this case it doesn't really matter because I know, you know, what's inside of here, and I know it needs new shutter curtains, and so I know it's got to get taken all the fuck up. 1, 2, and 3. It's very hard to see them. I'm going to remove those. I do like working on these cameras. Mounting shutter curtains is its whole other art, you know. It's also precision work, like a lot of the adjustments in a camera, but it's kind of like millinery or being a seamstress. Okay, this is going to come off, and we'll probably drop the pressure plate out the back. Oh, we got to push the rangefinder cam follower down. Okay, interesting. So we've got the pressure plate and the body, and the pressure plate springs. Now we can take a look at this trashed shutter. Interesting. I wonder if this shutter's like functionally fine. No, the shutter is not functionally fine. Okay, this is an old patch we're looking at. Like, what is going on here? But I mean, there's the glue solvent seems to have melted a lot of the rubberization. Maybe it's just old, but it doesn't seem like a good. I would not patch it. For all of that work. Like, why? They clearly took it apart because they patched it from this side, or at least they took it apart this far. But seems like the solvent from that patch job eventually, or maybe immediately, just ate the fuck out of the rubberization on this first curtain. Let's take a look at the second curtain. Also a bunch of pinholes degrading. You know, that's enough that I think it is time to pull this whole shutter out and, well, give it some new shutter curtains. Alright, so make sure we're on B. We are. I guess I will start pulling the top cover off. This collar screw, and then that can slip out. Collar. And we've got a retaining ring over here. I ordered a whole bunch of new spanner wrenches for little rings like this in the mail, so I could do a nicer job without scratching things ever, you know. Sometimes these obstinate circles are, well, tough. Alright, you got a one-piece lever. I think for Ethan's design preference, the one-piece is far superior to the two-piece lever on some of the Canons. Alright, finally got that up with a little oil. I lubed it just to take it apart. Okay. Now I'm going to pull off the rangefinder. First have this cover, and then I believe this piece should just slide out. It has this collar on it. It is not threaded, it's just rotatable because it's the erecting prism in the rangefinder system. It's kind of a, let's say, a optical wedge that determines your vertical alignment. Okay, maybe if I can't pull it out, I will just align it with the holes of the collar that I know is right behind it, and take them both out together. Now, here's where I really should have a compass to do this job, I think. There's your back ring. Oh, my hands are disgusting, I'm sorry. And there's the front ring with the erecting prism in it. Okay. Those aside. I'm going to take this cover off. This is for adjusting the horizontal alignment of your rangefinder, your distance alignment. That's the cover for it. Alright, now I'm going to come up here to the shutter speeds, take out 3 grub screws. I want to pull them out, but I'm going to leave them in. There's quite a bit of adjustment for them to be left in the knob and still remove it. I don't really want to lose any grub screws. Okay. Two. Ha, ha, ha. We're close, but it's still. I think what we got in there is maybe an aluminum cast part that has not been removed, maybe ever, from this camera. I don't know, that would be a long time for it never to have seen a service under this cover, but yep, there we go. I believe this aluminum just kind of welded itself to this brass on the inside here, or chrome plating or something. Okay, I'm going to remove this one back cover screw and these 2 screws around the rewind knob area. Okay. Now the cover should come off, and it does. Look for any washers or anything weird. We can take a look at the actuation of the shutter. We can take a look at the position of the second curtain pawl in relation to the bulb lever. That's how they should be when we are cocked. Let's just take off the bottom cover now. We can take stock of that alignment as well. See what brake mechanism is going on up in here. The IVSB has quite a nice shutter brake at the end of the first curtain travel. It leads to pretty even exposures, much more so than you can get on something like a Zorky, or I don't know about you, but much more so than I could get on a Zorky. Yeah. So this thing is pretty early and lacks a lot of the shutter brake assembly that would have been in an IVSB here. Okay, that's fine. We can test the shutter times. Let's do that. Okay, so if this is bulb, this should be a 25th of a second, I believe. Nope. Also bulb. Let's see. That's a 30th. Is 38 and 36. That's pretty good. Here we go, a 60th or a 50th on this camera, I forget. 52 and 46, I'll take it. This is a 100th. Oh, that's getting pretty off now. By the time we're at 100th, Oh, 74th and 68th. Let's see. 157. It's starting to act a little erratic, right around 100th, which, you know, makes sense given the condition of the patched curtain. That's a 200th is 162, 131. That's almost within spec. Let's see, 500th. 250, 242. Yeah, I think that's the last pin, yeah? Let's just make sure. 261, 244. So it's like one stop slow, but still reasonably within spec. Okay, so we're going to give it a good old cleaning. First thing I'm going to do is take the rangefinder off. That's got 3 screws. Boop, boop, boop. Nope, not that one. Don't take that one off. This one right here. Boop. This one has a little spring for the slow speed levers. Well, I'll just take it off with that spring there. The optics seemed fine on this when I got it in and checked it. I'll do that. I like to do that outside where I can check infinity. That one's a little hard to get to. Might need a thinner screwdriver to come at it off angle. Very narrow head. Ooh, baby. That's going to get a little bit of lighter fluid. I hate to be squirting shit everywhere, but that is a very tight screw. There we go. Okay. That is a little boring. So goes the tedium of camera repair. Sometimes things don't come apart the way they were designed because they've got 50 years of grease. Okay, we got to remove the rangefinder follower here. Get you the biggest screwdriver you can get. I mean, that's usually for everything. Just get you the biggest screwdriver you can fit. Let's get this arm off. Sometimes on some models you can like twist and wiggle, and remove this arm. I don't know if some models of Canon can do it, but some models of like Zorky, I think you can do that. But, anyway, I have yet to find a Canon where I can just slip the cam out through the mechanism plate. I think it's coming now. It would be really nice to remove the rangefinder at this point, but I do have the option of dropping the whole crate, which we're going to do anyway, and then getting it this totally straight on with a larger driver, something like that. I think that's okay. So if you're doing this at home and this screw isn't fighting you, you got a nice long flathead, take this out, put it someplace safe. If you are not, now we've got to disassemble the shutter mechanism so that we can drop the crate off. There's the bulb lever. I'm going to leave the wind together. It's moving really nice and smooth. Let's see. Let's take the fast speed timing apart. Got a screw. Under here is going to be a spring. Don't lose that spring. It'll get away from you. Come on, focus. That little spring. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, This will be my shutter pocket. And this thing just slips right off. And now we've got a cross pin, which I'm going to preemptively hit with a little first lighter fluid and then actually some oil, because this is a delicate little thing. It will affect your shutter timing if you fuck it up, particularly at very fast speeds. And well, yeah, it has fought me. There's a bunch of dissimilar metals, and they're all very small. And it's a grub screw, so you can, you know, slide your, of course, always fights me. It's a grub screw, so you can slide your screwdriver left and right and ruin the threads above the screw, you know. So it's a little tricky. You know, how much force do you want to put on it? How much force can you put on it? Functioning of these pieces and their interrelations is very precise and related to, you know, off the bumper spring. This is the brake, and then this extra screw, which will remove the slow speed mechanism, escapement, if you will. 1, 2, 3. There's a slow speed escapement. We'll deal with that later. This guy over here. Oops. And yeah, we're almost ready to pull the shutter. We're going to take off the brake here. Now this this braking disc has a pin on it that's going to be clocked to this guy. So if this is the entrance of the pin for the first speed fast timing disc, if that's where this brass disc, where its hole is pinned through, right? The screw comes in like this. The pin for the bumper is clocked like that, right? The pin is right under where you can see that rivet. It's riveted in. That's the back side. That's the clocking of that with respect to this thing. This thing is clocked like that. Let's see. Can we? Yeah. Okay. Clocked like that. And where it shutter is released point. Anyway, I'm going to take this off and see if I can't get a more. Well, so if it's released, I'm just going to put a little. Do this very. Okay, so in the, oops, that's cocked. In the shutter is released position, the pin is here. Yep. I don't know if you can see that mark. I want to keep it pretty small. That will be useful to future camera repairmen. This is filled with lacquer, so you might have to dig out a little bit of the lacquer in the screw head so you can get a screwdriver in there. I put some lighter fluid in there a little bit to soften the lacquer, both in the threads and the head. Come on, baby. Oh, fuck. It's really together. Okay, there we go. Really, this camera, it's in very nice shape. It's never been taken apart, but the problem is I'm having to do a little bit of damage to get in there because everything is very tight. That's got to be factory lacquer. I don't think this ever got adjusted. Okay, under this bumper, it's important that you note that there's a brass washer. This guy. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna put all this away and I'll come right back. All right. Now we can remove 4 screws. Here, 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 and here. You're best off with a long, skinny screwdriver. What I have here is not ideal. It becomes hard to get a grip on it, and these are also, yeah, believe it or not, pretty tough screws. I'm going to order some nicer long handle pliers. Long handle screwdrivers, rather than using a pliers like this to get a grip and just try and break that connection. I mean, it's really, oof. I'm gonna come back to that one. And here goes the last one. Wasn't too bad. It took me a minute though to get them all out as best I could. Marred some paints on the screw heads. There's my crate to body screw pocket. Now I believe we should be able to slip these guys apart. Let's find out. There's a little bit of interaction because the B lever, let me zoom in. No, sorry, not the B lever, the slow speed engagement lever rod is slipped around the bottom of the drum, and it's also being held in here. I think you probably get the whole thing out, but the first move regardless is to slip the bottom of this guy out like that so it's not impeding the drum from slipping down. Now we can slide the crate off. We get these 2 halves. Let's just take a look at the mechanism plate right now. I'm going to take this off because these need to be cleaned. Actually, you know, on the Canons, I gotta say, whatever material they made it out of, it seems like kind of dusty, crusty, rusty. Are you gonna get in there? Oh yeah, here it comes. Okay, you've got the nut, the grody-ass spring, 1950s Canon Japan grease. Now we have another collar, I believe. Is that screw off collar? And it is. If you can get it. Give them a little lighter fluid to break the grease free. This is a pretty tiny one. I might have to come back at it with a compass later. Let's see. Oh, here it comes. No problem. I have 2 more lens wrenches coming in the mail. I'm just like trying to have a few more specific tools that are nice to not even scratch the littlest parts, you know. Okay, this guy only needs to come up to there for cleaning. We can, anyway, there's a collar and there's this guy, and I don't see any washers. I'm going to leave that together on the mechanism plate, but I'm going to pull this out for some ultrasonic cleaning. Just going to take an ultrasonic nap. Come on, baby. I want to show you how this comes out, but I also want to know how this comes out. It's, you shouldn't bend it, for sure. Oh, maybe this one comes out. No, no way. No way, Jose. Okay, yeah, you do something. Okay, so you get this edge under here like that, and then you rotate like this to get the pin towards the arch, and then you slip through, right? Boop. Pin towards the arch. Yeah, and it wasn't so bad from this side. I'm able to put the rangefinder up on a cushion. Let's just take a look, because we've got a screw and then a steel washer behind it, and then this guy is keyed, but it's pretty obvious which way it's keyed. It should be. Not lose anything. Okay, and then, you know, for cleaning we can get this this guy off, and I would like to note when it comes off, we've got flat washer under here, a very delicate copper washer. I'll remove that when I clean it. And then there's some brass washers on its throat. I'm going to leave those together right now, but those will come off in the ultrasonic and get put back together in that order. I would like to note, I didn't figure this out by myself. All of this shit is in this IKEA manual for the IBS-2 and its various other models. The 2A, 2B, 2D, that's what this is. 2F, 2S, 3, 3A, 4, 4S, 4S2, and I did a 4SB, and it was very damn close. Anyway, all of the memory about which order the washers go, really, you know, when I'm first learning a camera, I can't be bothered with the, you know, the mental RAM that it takes to remember the order of all of these washers, right? The first 5 times I've done one, and so this manual tells you everything where it needs to go, right? There's some subtleties, and it tells you about those subtleties too. Anyway, I'm going to let this camera cool down. I'm going to clean up this mechanism plate. The wind mechanism is actually great, so I'm not going to bother with that. I don't even know if I should lube it. It's so smooth, but it should go for another however many years. This bushing is going to get cleaned. All of this will be cleaned up. Yeah, then I will come back and pull the shutter out and make some new curtains. Okay, this is the slow speed escapement. I want to clean and lube it while it is out of the camera. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this cover off. This cover has like a matte black paint. I don't want to run it through the ultrasonic. It's also got some, god damn it, got some lacquer on these screws. I'm going to use a little lighter fluid to break them free. You can take that cover off, and then this whole thing's going to go in the ultrasonic like that in lighter fluid, and then it'll come out, and I will oil all of these pivot points top and bottom. Okay, before I pull this totally apart, I'm going to wind the this guy, the first curtain, all the way up, and I'm going to note this area. So the service manual says it's like 3 or 3.1 millimeters from the picture frame, but it's better to just take you X-Acto and boop, make that mark. So that mark is a little crooked, but that is where my deal is. So I'm going to remove these two guys. They are counter threaded. They're left hand, and they're sprung. And then this is righty-loosey to come off. There we go. And okay, there's inside here, there's a washer, and then there's a roller. Oh, actually, that's the top roller. There's no roller on this long one. And we're going to do the same over here. Take a little tension off of this guy. Remove the pawl. And then see if we can't get the collar to come off. I just wound up the screw a little bit inside, and then I released the tension on the nut, taking the nut off again, righty-loosey. There we go. Okay, so when I remove this, in here there's going to be washer, roller, spindle. And I'm going to pull out the main drum. These curtains are pretty bad. The ribbons look good. It's stuck. There we go. Okay, make sure we got our washers out. And we should have, let's see, a pair of rollers. They are not the same in this camera. The roller with the long stem is the bottom roller. The roller with the short stem is this piece here, right? Bottom roller, top roller. We've got our two lock nuts, and we've got one washer. We've also got a brass washer from around the main feed drum. And, you know, I'm looking for the other washer. It would be down here on this face if it came off like that. I'm going to say it is missing a washer. Okay, see if we can replace that on the way back into the camera. For now, let's deal with these shutters. Okay, I got this laid out the way it is in the camera. We've got the second curtain take up, the first curtain take up, and then this shutter goes on the lens side, and this one goes down. Anyway, the ribbons or tapes look good. Their connections to the drums look good. Their shutter curtains, we've proved, have holes in them. This one's disgusting and affecting the timing. This one is just not light tight, so I'm going to remove them. I'm going to do them one at a time and not disturb the tapes as much as I can, right? I'm going to do this one first. It's the easier one by far. So first thing, I'm going to roll that off, and I will clean this and get it ready for re-gluing. And then let's take a look at that. I think this is the patch. It came off, yeah. I guess, I wonder how long that worked. Okay, so I want to measure this. I wonder if it's spec'd in the manual, but I want a curtain length of 30 curtain, 80 millimeters. Plus the fold is something like, well, I'll cut it a little long. These are polyester curtains, definitely. I don't know if the originals were silk, but I think we're looking at early 50s, so let's make some silk curtains from Nobu in Japan. Thank you, Nobu. Okay, so I'm going to take special note. I'm always going to be gluing these seams rubber side. So this curtain is going to have rubber side forward and this glue seam wrapped over like this, just like this one coming out. I don't know if you can see that. Let's get down closer. Oop. All right, so, all right, there, it's folded over like this, and it's glued and sewn. I'm just going to glue and clamp and let it dry. Okay, so I'm going to start by cutting this off at the batten. I'm being pretty careful not to bend the batten or otherwise form or deform it. Pull this off. And I gotta get all of this material off. It's important that you don't do a big messy job here. This is a part that is much more like tailoring than it is the rest of camera repair. But it is nonetheless, maybe even more important, it is mechanically important.
I like that.
I like this. Alright, now. It is, you have to be very...
Ralph Lauren of cameras.
Put on some new pants. No, you got to be pretty precise about how, you know, how your fabric parts come together. They got to be clean. Got to be put on in the right way. Okay, so I'm looking to do it something like that. Then I get my Elmer's glue, or better yet, I got some Pliobond coming in the mail today. Pliobond 25 is the pro's choice. Oh, I got a glue tray.
Great.
All right, so I have
worth $36. I'll take it.
I have a little bit of extra fabric here sticking up because I'm going to slide it under, so I get glue under on the underside of the lath or the bar. And this is a lot like patching a tire. I'm going to get it on the top of the lath, and then this really has to be very straight, you know. You can't do this at some cockeyed angle. It will not be good. Your shutter will bind. At a minimum, it'll have bad timing. At a maximum, well, get all fucked up. Alright, so then you're going to fold this bad boy over.
Technical term.
Yeah. Technical term. Term of art. Alright. Let's see. This is drying pretty fast. I'm trying to roll it over, stick it to itself press hard, but not enough to deform the lath. I have a little give to my table because of this rubber mat. I'm missing a little bit of this corner, so I'm going to get in there with the rubber cement. Just spread it. Give it a little one of these, the rocket duster, just to cool it down. Woo! No, just to get it tacky. And then we can continue to pinch. Okay, you want to work that down so it's nice and connected.
Guess what?
And we'll be back when that's dry. I'm overheating ass camera. You want it to be really straight. Right? It's got to be parallel with the lath, and yeah, let's get a little more glue on the curtain. I'm looking for one wrap. One wrap around the drum. Hello, one MTV wrap, please.
You're right.
Roll that up. And when it's rolled, you should see if you have any problems with parallelnicity between it and the drum. I'm going to give this a little bit of time to dry, and then we're going to, well, okay, while it's drying, we can mark the other side. So now here is the timing relevant problematic one. Okay, so we need to make a mark right here. So we can tell if these are the original curtains. There will not have been a mark here, and I don't think there is. I think these are probably the originals. So I'm gonna put a nice clear line in this thing at the end. At the end of that curtain. And now I'm going to, oh, this feels so bad to do. Just like, I'm losing all of the timing of a soft body inside the camera, you know, but it needs to be done. I'm going to cut a new curtain, and then I'm going to attach the curtain to the lath first, so that I can account for, you know, I might go plus or minus half a millimeter in the fold, right? But once I know how long that joint takes me, then I can measure from lath to here, and we can take that measurement, and that's the curtain I want to make. So this is probably spec'd in the manual, but maybe not. Okay, it's a little awkward. Put this over there. Okay, actually, from the front of the lath to the back of the curtain, I'm looking for 98 millimeters. Okay. I'm going to write that down. 98 millimeters, and then just for, I know this, let's just go for 30 millimeters. Yep. And I'm going to give a fold over allowance of like this, and then we'll trim the extra off the back end. So I'm going to cut a, let's say, 108 by 30 in the cut. Cool. Sometimes the original glue on these can be pretty obstinate. You want to make sure, I don't mind metal on metal for cutting away at this glue, but you do want to get all of it off. You don't want any extra thickness at the batten to cock up the works, if you will. But also, you really don't want to bend the batten pushing on it with a knife. I don't care if you scratch the face. I won't deduct points for that. We're gluing back over it. But nice and clean and straight is important. Be very careful peeling stuff like this off, not to flex the batten. I get to a glue spot. Doing some archaeology here, some mummy. Alright, that. Okay. Got my slightly oversized shutter curtain wrapped the right way. It's important you pay attention to which way this is folding over, and which way the threads on the roller go, the top and bottom of the roller. This is getting pretty gummy. I like that. Okay. I'm not trying to do ultimate stickiness everywhere, but I am trying to do full stickiness everywhere. Oh yeah, we're at full stickiness. And full that. Well, maybe I could go even a little more. Okay. Getting there. Working with glue and fabric, like time becomes kind of sensitive. Right? The glue will set, obviously. Maybe even before I can get this back together. Really want the fold to be right at the edge of the lath. I don't want the fold to be here, with like a flappy bit. I want, total lath encapsulation, which maybe we're going to get. Okay, this guy is ready. To go on, and this guy goes with the rubber actually outside on the curtain. And this was a kind of short piece, so I actually measured it, and this corner down here, this where it's not cut perfectly straight, is at 98. So that's at the line, and then I'm going to make it otherwise straight on the drum. So what are we going to do? We're going to let's get rid of. Now we're going to put some rubber cement up in here on the fabric side. Get that in there good. Make sure you get full, even coverage. Okay, then I'm going to get some glue on the drum. Not all the way around just yet. Okay. I'm going to try and get that drum positioned about where I want it. And now, alright, without getting everything stuck to everything, I want to get this aligned and at the correct point. got this end a little wobbly, but it's okay. You just need it to be very straight and clean. I mean, everywhere is best, but most importantly, over by where it's actually being fed out. Okay, so now that I've got this on and in the correct position, I'm gonna add some more glue in here to both the fabric side and the drum side. I'm gonna keep going for about a whole turn, making sure that there's no like bubbles or gaps or wrinkles, and that we're still rolling on perfectly straight, which is true. Okay, one more round of some glue up here. Come in almost all the way, like maybe 1/8 of an inch up to the alignment line on the other side. Okay, give this a little spray, make sure everything gets tacky. Keep rolling. Try not to, if you get glue in your fingers, you want to wipe it off on your clothes so that you don't get it on the shutter. Or just keep a towel nearby. I'm just kind of massaging it, making sure that it's going on straight. And yeah. Quite nice, really. Now, do this. We have got. That's how it looked. Boop. Just like to do a sanity check. So this is on. There we go. Alright, I'm going to give these guys a little while to dry, and then we'll put them back in the camera. Okay, so I went ahead and clean this out. You can remove this bottom plate on this model and actually remove this piece, but it's just a light oil, so I flushed it and moved it around with some lighter fluid and then oiled it, and you can see it moves nice and light. This has to move along with the first curtain, so you need it to move very cleanly. Now, the mark that I made here, here, should be 3 millimeters from the picture frame. Actually, real quick, I'm going to take this shutter off. It's just going to be a lot easier to mount everything if the guide is not in the way. Oops, I broke it free, but it's still not coming. Okay, here's the shutter leaf spring, shutter button return. It's more than just a shutter button return. Okay, so when you pull this off, you're going to get this guy. It's 2 screws. You got the curtain guide, if you will, and then the double nut from over there. Okay, that's going to make it a little bit easier to get in there. You could also remove this this piece, but it'll be annoying to put in later, I think. Anyway, okay. I guess we could do this either way. I'm going to go with the drum first. So when the drum is wound up, did I make a boo-boo? No, okay. Hang on one sec. with the first curtain rolled up, the ribbons on the top and bottom, enough that the batten is going to sit here at this alignment mark. This is at the end of its cocked travel, right? Which means it's all the way counterclockwise, which means this is all the way clockwise. So I'm going to rotate this wheel right here all the way clockwise. Now I'm going to mount this drum in its hole. Oh wait, I'm not. I'm first going to grab this guy. This little brass washer right there goes over the bottom of the shutter drum. Looks like the ones that go over the take-up rollers, but it's different. Okay, now zoom out of here a little. Okay, so with this gear all the way at its end of travel, I want to slip the end of the drum axle in and then adjust. Now it's locked because the teeth are engaged, but I'm going to pick it up slightly and rotate until the lath is at my alignment point. If I am too far beyond my alignment point, then what happens? Then my second curtain won't latch. It'll miss the B lever. If I am too far out in the other direction, I'll have problems in later models with the flash circuit. Okay, so there I am. I'm like one tooth too far back, so I'm going to lift this and come out one tooth. Now, looking again, I'm right at it. Okay, so before I do anything else, I'm going to go look at the bottom here. What goes on the bottom? First, you've got another one of these brass washers. Come on, baby. And this should be cleaned. You could put some light grease on there. I'm actually going to hit this with some light oil. And, okay, in the fired position, I know where this is. Should be there. This fires, it's going to go there, so this needs to back up 3/4 to there. I believe this is it. I made the timing mark here for the shutter in the fired position, but I actually want it in the cocked position. I believe it's there. I may be incorrect, in which case we will come back to it later with the full shutter assembly, but for now I just really want this guy back together. At the end, maybe we'll put some lacquer on this shutter brake. That's a nice thing to do. Come on. I could get this done, huh? Do I have the dexterity to left-hand screw one? This is not a left-hand screw. I am just being left-handed about it. Yet I am not left-handed. Okay, Ethan, grab the work where you have control over it, and it doesn't have control over you. I like how this green tray gives me a lovely Shrek-like pallor. My hands look disgusting. I feel like a car mechanic almost. A lot of these greases and grease removers got me all fucked up. Alright, here we go. And that's back in. Great. So this guy isn't going anywhere. Now we can do these guys. I think it's probably going to put in this front roller first, I think. Yep. That'll be easier. Alright, I'm going to put this down for a second. And the front roller at the bottom, it has this brass or copper washer and then one of these lock nuts. So take some slack out, but I don't want to tension it at this point. Of course, put on this guy. Nope. Anyway, just this washer. Now we're going to stick this washer through this hole like that. Hold the pin down with this fingy. And we're going to get the lock nut around it. Try not to drop the other spool. Get all the ribbons tangled up and shit. Here we go. I'm just going to wind that down enough to grab it. And now, okay, there's a little goofy of a interlapped setup, but this lap, the one I'm installing now on this take-up roller, is behind. It's towards the film plane, but this roller assembly is in front of the curtain ribbons. So anyway, needless to say, this, you want to hold it like this. Now I finally have this part right. This is the long necked one that I showed you earlier. That goes like that with the neck down. And then we've got sorry, I need where my tweezers at? Trying not to move my... We've got this copper washer. It goes down at the bottom there. And then we're going to need this lock nut here. So, okay, I'm going to make sure that... Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd be dropping these washers all the time. I think some people might use grease, but I'm going to leave it free floating for now. Lubricate intentionally. These parts are nice and clean and moving good. Alright, so a little tricky, but not that tricky in the scheme of things. Going to get the end of this peg in that hole. Again, keep your finger over here. Oh, there's my favorite tweezers. Now we can put the nut around this guy. I'm going to knock the pawls out of the way and just get this guy. Again, left hand thread, so we're going to go lefty-tighty. Good enough for this assembly at this point. So, interesting. I have made myself one of these. This is a 1.9 millimeter pin with a artisanal plastic electrical tape top, and this is what I use for checking the wind curtain alignment between these two to see how they cap during wind. So that looks good to me. Alright, so I'm just going to tension these guys up enough, like they can't hold tension really without the top pivots, but they can hold a little bit of tension that kind of holds the whole shebang in place. That's the one with the short neck up there at the top. I will probably lose that right now, but I'm going to just tighten these guys up a little bit. For the millionth time, they are reverse threaded. Let's go with the back one first. Oops. That was inadvisable. But I got it back on. Okay. You got to make sure your nut moves with you, otherwise you can screw out your nut. Know what I'm saying? Alright. Let's try this again. And I'm tightening down the nut as we go. I'm using my finger up at the top as like a brake on the rod. I'm squeezing. I don't know if you can see the pressure in my left thumbnail, but I'm squeezing this so that the rod can't spin out under tension of its own spring. Alright, that's good enough for my purposes. Let's try this guy. I'm doing the same operation. Okay, now I will bring the nut around, and I'm not going to worry about these lock pawls because, again, motherfucker, it needs a little more tightening. At this point, I'm not going to worry about the lock pawls because I will tighten this some more probably while we're building the shutter timing assemblies, and then for a final time when we do the final adjustment. That's the A and the C, the L and the A. Oh, I see. Alright. Come on. I want it at least so it, will pull the weight of one curtain closed. Alright. Maybe I'm going to make a 3D printed tool with a pin like that. I do a bunch of these. Okay, now what? It's probably a good time to return the, I don't know if you call this a shutter guide. Slides in there like, I said like so, like, come on baby. This slides, just slides on in there. Come on. Fiddly little bugger. There we go. That just drops down like that. And I drop this over here like that and use my finger to kind of clamp it down. Okay, we've got, this is the slow speed escapement for ultrasonic, about 15 minutes. Pretty nice mechanism. It's got a spring that you wind against. It's generally not biased, right? And then when you engage with it, it pushes the bottom of that pawl, the bottom of that lever pushes this guy, which winds up this little spring and then releases through that escapement. Well, let's take a little closer look. I'm going to blow it off. It was pretty clean when I got to it, but this is usually what causes old cameras to not be able to shoot at slow shutter speeds. This gets gunked up, so it seems like while we were in here, might as well take the cover plate off, clean it, and lube it, and reinstall. Okay, so now it's all dry, has not been lubed, but we can that's moving great. So I have a little bit of graphite powder. You want to do this with this totally dry, fine graphite powder, and I'm going to use it. Excuse me. Maybe I should wear a mask. I'm going to use it on the teeth of some of these gears. Try not to get it on my workbench. I've seen people do this. I like it. I think maybe I'm going to switch to a Teflon lube, but that's alright. Okay, so now it's very important you don't operate your rocket duster with your graphite powder around. Now, I'm actually going to do this off camera to keep everything clean, but I'm about to dust it. I do want to oil the points. Now, you don't want to oil the points and then graphite the thing. I think you would just make a sludge out of the oil. Boop, 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 boop. Now we'll do the other side and we'll work it in. Boop, boop, boop. Come on, baby. I'm trying to use really low pressure. It's fine. I'm not trying to flood oil or get them on the face of the teeth. A little bit of blobbage is fine because you just come back here and get it real quick before it can get on the face of the gears or travel. Just dab those guys real quick. And then I'm going to run the oil into the pivots. Now I'm going to just wipe the face clean to make sure we're not bringing any extra gummy ass oil into this mechanism. I want it to stay very clean. Okay, we're going to put its cover on before we put it in the camera. Yesterday I did one of these and tried to put the cover on at an angle while it was already inside the camera, which is possible, right? Like if you were being lazy and you just wanted to clean this thing out, I bet you could take the cover off inside of the mirror box without disassembling, well, as much. But I mean, this pin tool that I made is just like one. It's not even like there are apes that make more sophisticated tools. Okay, but whatever. I'm not trying to win a sophistication contest. These are the next parts that go together. They are the slow speed escapement module, the shutter brake spring combo, and the 3 screws. 2 of the screws go into this guy like that, and then 1 is just for the brake. I think they are all, this is the short one. I think the short one just goes straight to this, so I'm going to actually do that one first. So this guy goes in here like that. See? Okay. Now this one over here is the one that gets the short screw and just goes into the timing mechanism. Okay, great. Now here go the shutter brake. Boop. We're in a position where it's going to interfere, which makes sense. Let's see if I can just hold this. So I did get the timing on this guy correct. Its pin would interfere with the top of the brake bump if I just left it sitting in the fired position. I can't cock it just yet. Okay, I've got that in. Now I can release and we can see the rivet on the back side of that pin hit the shutter brake right there, which is nice. We want that. Quite nice, really. Now here's one screw that just threads into the body. I'm going to tighten them all up. This screw here, as it screws down, it pushes the resting position of this shutter brake down. So as you adjust this in, you lighten the load, you decrease the braking force here. While I'm here, I'm just going to put a smear of grease in at these contact points on the brake spring and at the pins. Okay. Cool. I might even actually, it's a good time to give it a tiny drop of oil at the pivot. Yep. And I don't really want to be oiling those gears, but I do want to just hit the pivot underneath them with one drop of oil. This is the difference between a CLA and a CLL. People just be cleaning and then lubing the shit out of it. that's how you fix. We don't really disassemble the clean lube. No adjustment. Also requires disassembly. This matte black material will really pick up some stains from oils and shit. You want to keep it pretty clean if you can. Okay, next order of business. What are we gonna do? Damn it. Okay, so now this guy's gonna go together, and we'll worry about this slow speed guy later. We might have to disengage the escapement, but first, okay, we want this hole in the center drum rolled counterclockwise of the stop or the connector in the first curtain. See, like that. And then this pin is going to align. This pin is going to align and go into that hole through them both when these guys go together. So I'm going to put that roughly in the right clocking, and then I'm going to try and slide into this camera's DMs. Just like that. The next connection is the bottom of the sprocket shaft is going to come through in here. Yeah. Okay, we're just doing a little slide and wiggling. Make sure this is free and out of our way. Okay, the next things I'm going to look for are the ends of the rollers, these pivots here. See if I can't wiggle them into position. Oh, yeah, there we go. And now it really feels pretty positively in place. I'm going to hold it and flip it over and take a look at these four boop, 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 those holes. They all look pretty good in terms of alignment. So I'm going to go over here. I don't know if you can read, I wrote crate to body. This is the boys to men cell of this. I'm just going to put in, let's say, 2 of these for now. I don't know yet if I'll have to come apart or I'm going to have any problems, but this will alleviate my necessity of holding it with a death grip. Okay, at this point we can wind and fire, and that's good. Yep. Now, here's the question. Can I get this lever in without removing things. I think I can. I may have to ultimately remove the fucking cover on this thing. But I was able to do it in the IVSB. I snaked the whole thing in there without bending anything. I'm going to once again take the cover off with it in place like a stupid idiot. But luckily I just did those screws, so they're not going to fight me at all. Second screw and then the protective cover. Come on, baby. Alright. It's nice to leave that exposed, but dangerous for your camera. Camera dangerous. Okay. Oh, I can't. Okay, so I'm going to quit fucking around and loosen these screws to give myself like another ½ millimeter of wiggle room to get this rod in place. Ooh, there goes that whole ass screw. Alright. Maybe I need to loosen the shutter brake as well. Yeah. I don't want to loosen it too much. But okay. Yep. There we go. Now we're in. Before I was also able to reposition it all together. This top. And then this thing can go into its pivot down here, I believe. Yep, there we go. And I'm just going, oops, while that's there, I'm going to very, very, very sparingly lube the yoke and pin for this escapement, because that's a sliding fit. I'm just doing it with the ends of my tweezers. There's a little bit. I really don't want any of that heavy grease up in that mechanism. It'll make things run slowly and erratically and temperature sensitively. Okay, while that's there, I actually dropped this screw from the back, so... Oh, mother... Okay. I see what's going on here. So I'm going to get this into position. I'm going to keep my tiger clamp on, tiger clamp grip, and I'm going to tighten the shutter brake next. And I think we're in the pivot. Maybe now we're in the pivot. Okay, so I'm going to keep my clamp hand on there, and I am going to just tighten this guy up real quick. This took some damage in the delacquering process. Alright, now once this is tight, I think I have captured that guy, but I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to be careful here while I have it upside down to keep my finger on top at this point. I'm going to go for that guy. Okay. Oh yeah. So crazy that we could be making screws and thinking nothing of it as a species. I can barely manipulate this thing. I have like the die systems for making them by the billions is incredible. What a time to live. Okay, I can kind of relax my hand a little now. Let me just check the operation. Yeah, we're good. Okay, before I put all the rest of the stuff back on, I just want to keep this clamp in place, so we're going to put those components back on. They are, oh Jesus Christ. Okay. Clean desk is important to this line of work. Okay, we'll get my dirty old bumper. Alright, the next components are this spring, this lever, or linkage, and these two collars. There's a little collar for the bottom and a bigger collar slightly for the top. First thing that goes on is this lever. I'm going to lube the points. It's got a pivot around the shaft and around that top pin there. This is made out of some sort of metal that's less nice than I would have liked after all these years, but it's perfectly functional. Alright, that's that one. Then we got this little collar guy which goes through the pivot on the arm. Can you see this? So I'm obstructing the view, but I also don't want to drop this thing. I'm pinching with tweezers and turning. You got 360 degrees of demo. Now I'm going back to pinching. You should pinch too, so the whole, nothing can slip out. You're just using the ends of your fingertips to keep it. You got to run this thing down quite a bit. Okay. Now it's actually caught on the edge of this arm, and so got to back it up a hair, wiggle the arm until it's centered, and then continue, wiggle, continue, wiggle. Alright, now we're centered and set, and I'm just going to tighten this down. Okay, and now this piece should move easily back and forth. The next part is this spring. It's got a long arm and a short arm. The long arm goes over here with this little hook, little baby hook over the pin. We'll concern ourselves with that later, but this hole over here definitely. Okay, and it's going to want to bend down naturally. Now we have the last collar. It's got double flats on one side and those go up. It's like a nut. I'm just going to use my fingy to try and get it started. There we go. And just run it down finger tight, and then get some tension on it with a little screwdriver. That's good. Alright, now I want to hook this spring over the end pin here. Come on, baby. I do not want to deform this spring. It is important. There's a timing mechanism spring. This is the engagement of the slow speed mechanism, and then this is how it gets knocked out of the way. You can hear it running. So engagement, you turn the dial on the front, it runs a cam against this guy, which will be lubricated later. That engages this stop pawl, which stops the second curtain, which is keyed to this black iron piece here. And then the engagement determines how much, and then as it comes, it pushes this guy out of the way. And when that gets pushed, we're moving this lever here. You see that? Let me do a close-up. I said let me do a close-up, baby. Pushing. Oh, that's good cinematography. Very showing you what the hell I'm trying to show you, right? Yeah, that's the pushing it of it out of the way. and that's the engagement, which is biased away, but the pin that pushes it here sits on the rangefinder. Okay, next let's just clean this up. I'm going to put this cover back onto the slow speed escapement. Important to be having, I mean, maybe you already know this if you're watching me take this thing apart, but it's good to have skinny handle screwdrivers for getting in places and fat handle screwdrivers for getting some, power into it when necessary, and some fucking pliers and WD-40 for the times where you gotta get some muscle deep into a mechanism. Let's see. Yeah. So I am one tooth off. This job's going to have to happen again. What's going on here is the second curtain pawl is advanced of the catch. And we looked at that on our way in. It's advanced of the catch by like a tooth. It should sit here. And so the B lever is not, it's failing to do its job to catch the second curtain. And well, I'm going to need to remedy that before we can continue. So, B lever comes out, all this shit comes out. I go back inside and we change the clocking of this drum by one tooth. I will come back to the video at this point with this guy in the cocked position, one tooth over. Yep, that's what happens when you're not aggressive enough with your marks. See you in a minute. Okay, I don't remember exactly where we left off, but I do remember that the second curtain lever was advanced of the catch on the B lever. So I took it all apart. I advanced the shutter curtain drum lower gear by one tooth in the cocked position with respect to this spinning gear that we cleaned and lubed earlier, which sets the limit for the travel of that drum. So now we have B mode. While we're here, I'm going to, just with my tweezers, put a tiny bit, I don't want anything gumming up this works, but I do want a tiny bit of lube on the edges of all of the latching and pushing surfaces in this mechanism, right? That's the front surface and the come around of this guy. It's this points down here. It's these guys. I don't want to put enough grease in here that this is going to then stick to the bottom. We'll oil these 2 points. Put a little oil on the spring and on this catch in here, and I'm going to hit this with a drop of oil in the B lever for going up and down. It should be rather light. Okay. And I'll hit that point here and that point there, and I think we're good. Okay. Don't remember if we covered this or not, but I put this spring back on top here. I think we did this last time. Okay. I'll be honest, this is not the cleanest shutter job, but it is nice. Yeah, baby. Okay. So, what is next? Let's build the rest of the shutter assembly, I suppose, and then we'll get the rangefinder together. Fast speed part of the shutter. So, okay, you want to find which way goes first and kind of let's crank it until that's in an advantageous to assemble position, like straight up this way is where I'm positioning the grub screw hole. And you should note, don't try and put this screw in backwards. There's like kind of the wear pattern or even like a countersunk cutout that's where the entry point is. The exit point is just a straight up hole through the cylinder. So you get that backwards, you could really mash things. Ask me how I know. Alright, just gonna slip that on there, try and get it straight. I cleaned the hell out of these parts. These are fast timing parts. It's important that they're kind of pretty clean. I don't want sticky oil or goop or, you know, I don't want anything in there. I want it clean, nice and snappy. Maybe a light oil. Try not to force this. But, you know, it's like the dissimilar metals thing. This head is countersunk. It's important you get it all the way down so that it does not interfere with the aluminum collar pin. So I am absolutely going to grease this pin and the knockoff portion, cam portion of this high-speed lever, but I'm not going to leave globs of anything in there. I really want it to ride nicely on this plate. And actually I can give the collar up above some grease, just a wipe on this brass plate very, very lightly. These things are going to come into contact at low speed and human force interactions. I'm worried that I picked up a burr here. You know, I don't want to make this super greasy, but I want to make it, so yep, here we go. Okay. That's a nice speed 7. Alright. So over the speed setting we've got your spring, boop, and then the top screw, big flat one. Very thin. I would like a recommendation for very thin, wide screws. Sometimes when I can get at them, I'll be using a chisel, like a very small chisel, but it would be nice to have a screwdriver that was like this profile, but just like, you know, wider. Okay, that's in there. You want to check to make sure that you can set a speed, and then boop. Oh yeah, look at that, baby. And this is a good time to check B and 1/25. That should be B, and it is. One of these should be 1/25, one should be a 40th. Yeah, that should be like a 40th, I think. Maybe that's a 500th. Okay, we'll adjust those speeds later. I am getting a text message, BRB. Okay, if you were just following along brainlessly, this would be a good point to go back and grab the other 2 crate to body screws. These little poppy seed guys, and put them in. I've got one here, there are 2, one's in, and then there's one in there, and there will be the last one, or in this case, the first one. I've had it together and apart so many times getting to this point. I had not been putting in all of the screws. Red beard hair. I wonder whose that could be. I'd really try not to leave any of that in anybody's camera. Okay. I guess they're all my cameras at this point. For the most part, I do some of my friends' cameras. There we go. We're all together. Lovely. capping quite a bit. First guy has to come up. Okay, BRB. Okay, at this point I don't use the shutter tester, but I do just visually inspect against a light to make sure that the shutter's not capping, and adjust these guys a little bit as necessary, just to make sure that even, I don't know if you can see this on video, but at a 500th, which is the top speed, I hold it up to a light, yeah, there's no capping, and that will allow me to just kind of keep a good eye on the whole ass mechanism as I finally assemble everything, right? Let's see, we're going to go for, yeah, okay. So the next parts of the mechanism to go on, I guess, is the rangefinder. So I'm going to give the rangefinder a quick clean, and then we're going to install it. Alright, so the rangefinder is going to require the rangefinder cam, the washer and screw that go with the cam. We're going to require the, what is that? That's the view zoom in lever, the eyepiece magnification lever, and it's very delicate. I think this is probably a brass, or maybe it's a copper washer. And then we're going to need 3 screws. 1, 2, 3, and a washer for mounting the rangefinder. I think this washer, I can tell you where it came from in this camera. I think it is a shim. So you might pay attention to which of the spots that this came out of. Okay, so I believe my first hole is going to have a shim here. You can see the residue of some glue that they used to hold that shim on. Can we see that? Let me come back here in frame. Turn the exposure down just a little bit. Okay. Alright, here we're going to go big delicate shim. You know what? I'm going to do a little bit of grease on this bad boy. Boop, boop. Try not to get my work surface too greasy, but you know, this is a human interaction area. Great. And actually I'm going to put a little grease right there just to stick this washer down for now. Okay, now we're going to do a liberal amount of grease on the outside of this shaft here and the top of this washer, and the inside of this guy. Actually, I'm going to just use one of these guys, right? And it's bottom, and we could even go some grease on the teeth. Not too much grease on the teeth, because that mates to something very close to the rangefinder optics. Okay, so now this guy comes down, and I've already got, there's 1 or 2 brass washers up here, shim washers. Those go next. Great, so we got to take note of something in the rangefinder. This rangefinder has a gear down here on the bottom. It rotates, and rotates this whole ass plate with this turret to 3 positions to do low, medium, and high magnification. You can position it in 6 positions with, you know, the forward version and the reverse version. But if you look very carefully, one of them pointing screwdrivers, if you look very carefully along the edge here, this spring, this is a leaf spring with a little kink in it at that point right there, that's a detent. And so if we go to, come on baby, we go to here, right, it clicks into the detent, that's one position. 1, 2, 3, right? So we're all the way up this way, which means all the way like that. This should be 1.5. Yeah. Okay. So now we want to match. This is 1.5, and then this is the detent on this end. Try and straighten this hole. And just sit this thing down, man. Oh, you got a little, I got a little spring over here that's going to attach to this screw post. I just got to get it out of the way to sit the rangefinder body down. I'm not going to remove that thing. Okay, so now I want to test this. Can I go boop, boop, boop? Yep. And this should be the widest, middle, closest. Let me just check with my real ass eye. 1, 2. Oh yeah, totally working. And so that's probably, while you have it off, your last good opportunity to clean up all of this glass and this glass and this glass. And I did this glass, and then we'll get at this front later. I'm bound to touch it 6 times before we're done with this build. Okay, come on, baby. One rangefinder screw. Second one's a little tricky to get at. It is back here, kind of like inside of this bracket that's creating the eyepiece turret. I have mixed feelings about this rangefinder style. You know, it puts the magnification optics or demagnification optics aftward, rearward from the main beam splitter, and that has some nice properties, which is that the magnification optics act upon both of the image paths. Thus you can swap this magnifier, right, or rotate it around, or however you design a mechanism. You can change this thing and it will change both of these guys, and it sort of allows for this design. The disadvantage to that, though, is that the apparent size of the viewfinder is quite reduced from... I just formatted an unknown card. It's like, you know, fuck it. Let's finish this video, okay? That's what I do for love. Did I cock this up? Yeah, I got this together, but it now it is too bound up, so I'm going to loosen this. Loosen this and loosen this. See if we can, yeah, now we're back in business, baby. Good. And I will tighten each screw individually and then check the mechanism to make sure that that screw was not the guy getting in my way. Okay, those are the 3 screws, 1, 2, 3. My card cut out, and then you've got this tiny little end of the spring on this post from the rangefinder, and that spring is hooked down here on the slow speed lever. Yeah. Okay, now we can flip it over and drop in this cam. This cam goes out at this angle. There's only 4 possible positions, and it should be obvious to you which position would interact with the lens. There's only one of them. You got to kind of get it on a little bit and then push it in and push it down. You can't push it down all the way with it crossing the frame, even with the little cutout. So you get that in there like so, and then on goes the washer And then we're doing this for your perspective, but I need to do it from my perspective, so I can put this camera together. Now in goes the screw. And I think I could get this in pretty easy off axis, even though it was nigh impossible to do. At least I did not risk it ultimately when I was taking it apart. This camera took a little bit of damage coming apart. It was so old and unserviced. Okay, now I guess we can we put the top cover on? What am I missing? All of this stuff, it goes on after the top cover. We'll do the top cover and then we will do shutter timing. Okay, top cover goes on like so. Let's get our top cover screws. No, those are the body screws. Where's our top cover screws? You know what I'm saying? There. Okay, here's all the stuff that I'm going to put on before I adjust the shutter. This is the top to bottom assembly for the rewind knob. This is the plate mechanism, so all of this stuff goes up here, this stuff goes below. We got the shutter button surround, we've got the shutter speed setting dial with its 3 grubbed screws, I've got those in there, and then we've got the rewind lever. Beyond that we've got first this lock collar, then the erecting prism, then the cap out there, and I like to keep these together. This is the cover for the horizontal alignment. I'll put that in at this stage, even though I'll take it out to calibrate later. So let's just do this guy quick. It does not really necessarily need to go in. It will only get in my way if I have to tear this shutter all the way down again, but I feel confident enough at this point that I'm just going to do them all together, and if I have to, so be it. I'm going to put a reasonable amount of grease in here. This is a low speed, high friction point. This is your film is, pulling on this bad boy. Then there are those little thin brass washers in there. I believe, what are we set to? Yeah, that's 1.5x should be the current. Hey, check this out. There's a little cutout in here. You see that cutout? That's for grabbing the little finger down there. I'm going to put a wipe of grease for good luck along its barrel. It's nice to get a nice smooth, like all the smooth interaction points for a human. So this is going to go over and then sit down. Oh yeah, that's quite nice, really. It was like a little tough to get that seated down there, but I did. Okay, next goes on this lock collar. This most effective tool here, I would probably think would lovely. Okay, next let's put on the rangefinder. So first I'm going to put on this collar. Okay, that's down. Now this guy just pushes in. I'm always tempted to lube it because it's always a very tight fit, but don't lube it. It's optics. I cleaned and blew out the inside. We'll clean the outside in a second. Yeah, this is why I would like to lube it. This is why I don't bother cleaning the glass. It's because it is very tight in there. Now, are we in? Let's take a look. vertical alignment is actually pretty good off the bat, but it's not stellar. So I'm just going to quickly adjust the vertical alignment as we're doing this. And you just do that by rotating this, you know, clockwise or counterclockwise or clockwise or other clockwise until they coincide. I don't know which one's up and which one's down, but yep, I got it. We have vertical alignment. So wait. Okay, we don't need to make the sounds. I'll put that collar on to lock that setting in. Lock it in. Sometimes you can shift it when you put that collar on. You should check, and I will in a second. I'll just put this cover on. I'll probably have to come back to this cover to do the horizontal alignment. And how's our vertical? Yeah. Oh, damn. That's dead on. Okay. Cool. Collar. Oh, okay. So let's see how this goes. The collar is going to go with its hole here. Yep, it's only on one side because this is a hollow shaft. So collar out, or hole out. Collar also only has the hole on one side. It's a little countersunk. Line them up. Now, before you put the screw in, this guy, and I would actually give him some heavy lube because these always flop around on these cameras. So I'm just gonna, you know, put my heaviest lube in there as like kind of a friction damping paste, like a helical grease. Okay, but I just did that wrong. I want to have these all lined up so that I can slide that guy in just a little bit, keep that collar down, and now grab this screw. It has a pin, which should be greased, but I just did grease everything in there. I don't need to add any more. And we're going to tighten him down, her down, them down, tighten them down. Oh yeah, and then I'm going to give this a, and then a little bit of a cleanup. I don't want any, you know, gunk, white stuff on my customer camera. Gunk, bro. Okay. Nice, not floppy. Good choice with that lube. Okay. The next thing that's going to go on is the shutter button surround. It just screws on with your fingers. You don't even need a tool. And then this guy can go on only one way. This is the rewind advance lever. Use the butt of this to press it down. It's a little bit of a press fit. If not, your screwdriver, your screw will suck it in. Whole thing. I sometimes watch repair videos, and there's a Bergeron, I don't know how to say that. They make watch tools, a Bergeron tool that's got like, it's like a little pad with some jelly on it. Yep, the rewind is working. Clickety clack, 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 boom. Great, love it. Now, what goes on next? We've just got this. We are on, no, we're not on B, and I got no idea where B is. I think, I want to say that's going to be B. Nope. That's going to be B. Nope. Come on, baby. I'm going to find B at one of these points. This feels like a 250th or 500th. That's going to be B. Yep. Okay. So you want to align this bad boy with it cocked, with this little indicator aligned with B. You're not going to be able to put in that one grub screw. You can see it there. So we're just going to do the other two, and we will let out the tension I do these little by little in terms of engagement, because I want them to be lined up perfectly, and one may, if you just tighten one, it might change the alignment a little as the grub screw sets, as the screw turns. Next. Oh yeah, that's capping. Nothing. .200th is working just fine. Yeah. Okay, so now it's time to adjust this camera. So one of the quirks of this damn camera is, I guess I could get a reflected meter and reflect off of the pressure plate. However, you kind of have to keep the body off, which keeps the slow speed timing mechanism off. But so long as this is clean and moving good, we can check that by ear and by eye once the thing is assembled. However, at this juncture is the time to check the high speed and tension the curtains. So yeah, are we actually capping over there? Yeah, we are. Okay, so let's look at first a 25th of a second. So the 25th, this side is a little fast, the 31st and the 25th.54, which means the second curtain is catching up to the first curtain, which was true at the fast end of the dial. Let's try a 500th, that's going to cap. Let's go to a 100th to get some sense of reasonability. Yeah, and it's 84th and 204th. So 200th is 145, 143. Yeah, a little slow, about a quarter of a stop. I will take it. And then 500th is 363, 401, 378, 420. Yeah, so it's like half a stop slow, quarter of a stop slow at 500th. Beautiful. I'm not actually going to fuck with that. It's slightly erratic, but it's well within spec, within its erraticism. Okay, cool. That is a nice camera. It will expose things very evenly and uniformly. One thing you can adjust if they don't adjust just with these two guys is the engagement of the shutter brake, but that's all looking great. Anyway, I'm going to engage these pawl. Oh no, this pawl, can I get it around all the way? No? Okay. Well, I'm going to take this off for a second and realign the pawls and engage them. These lock the nuts in place. Come on. They're all bound up. Come on, baby. You want these like that. I don't know how I got it. Yeah, probably when I adjusted the shutter, I got it all out of combobulation. Put on the new curtains. It's definitely when I did it. Come on, baby. That one there, and that one there, and then this actually like is going to push the pawls in the other direction when I tighten it down. So I like to take another screwdriver and keep it engaged. Great. Okay, now that is locked. I guess we could do the bottom cover now, but we could also do that with the body on. So, yeah, let's do the bottom cover. That's a nice thing to do. Be a nice boy. The bottom cover has one short screw that's over here and two long screws. Sometimes you find washers under that bottom cover. I did not find any in this camera. I don't see any need for them, but be aware when you take apart really all the screw mount cameras, some of them be having washers under these holes. Spacers. One. I really love this graphic. Stop. Draw out no further. Attention. Ne pas sortir plus loin. I don't really speak French. I don't even fakely speak French. Pardon my French. Attenzione. Non estrarre oltre. Stop. Nicht weiter. It's weird there's no Japanese on this, but I guess this is the export model. I don't know what the domestic market was for these Canons. Okay. Now we are back together down here. I can feel good about that. And we're going for the pressure plate 1 and 2. These springs sit in the pockets. Make sure your body's all cleaned out. Put your springs in here. They go bump up in the pocket. Come on, baby. Trying to do this for the camera, not for my eyes. Don't. Okay. I'm gonna put this down. Quit messing around. I like to take a Kim wipe and put it on the top of this thing. It's nice and clean, so I don't get my grubby paws on it. The last chance I have, really. I mean, I guess I could set it to B, but I want to put it in here and push it down, make sure the springs are held inside of their pockets, right? I want to be able to rub this back and forth and feel that it is seated. There we go. Okay, so now I've got it with my fingies holding it, but not fucking it up with their greasiness. And then I'm gonna slide this bad boy in here. I said I'm gonna slide this motherfucker into here. Okay, so now I'm capturing the pressure plate in there. I can release my tissue. This cam has to come under the body lip. Then you got to do a little wiggling in the front and the back. A little squeezing. Why is it not going in? I don't like that. Gotta wiggle it and squeeze it. Gotta get this thing together. Now it is one camera. Okay, here we go. I'm just gonna test the shutter, make sure I didn't bind anything up. Okay, I have laid out the components for the slow speed adjustment knob in the order they go into the body. First it's this black screw, then it is this plate, then these screws, then this guy, then this plate, then the spring, the detent spring, the bottom of the knob, the lock collar, and then the top of the knob, and then inside the knob there's a set screw or a grub screw that I've got going there. So let's just put this guy together. That's your first one. Bada bing, bada boom. What's that screw into on the back side, you ask? I don't know. Alright, now we got this plate, be going like that with the hole over the screw. Cool. Now we got this guy, which kind of want to fall down in there. Okay, so here's the cam surface on this bad boy, right? It's a spiral or snail cam. I want to get some good grease up in there. Right? I want it to ride on its adjustment pole well, and then I want to put it in such a position that it's at the end of its travel and not interacting too much with the cam, so I can get it about as straight as I can inside this body here. And it never wants to be totally straight, but okay, that's good enough for now. Then we're going to stick this cover plate on it. The cover plate I want to say up. Okay, it actually goes in like that with the spring here and the pin up, and then the spring face forward, the hook around that pin. Now we sit down flat. Now there's a cut right there. I don't know if you can see that. Right there along the edge. There's a little bump in here, and that aligns with it. There's only one way it can go in. And I just just feel around for it. Like, come on, baby. There we go. Alright, and that sits down inside, and now I've already got this lock ring here. Let's try finger guns. Set them to 11. Yeah, now that's finally working. I can progress from finger guns to tweezers and remove the whole thing. That's on its spring. I'm going to stick the cover on, knob cover. We've got 3 black body screws. One here, one here, and one here. They're all the same. Okay, I'll flip it over, and we've got 2 more screws here. I already put that one in. Okay, the lens mounting screws. We have the 2 double retaining nuts. We have this guy, which I wrote 9 o'clock at the 9 o'clock position. Aha, did a good job. I could have referred to a photo. I don't think the Sharpie's going to ruin it. 10 o'clock at the 10 o'clock position. Oops, I don't remember, this was at 7. Going to... That's what I didn't want to have happen. Okay. Stick to my fingies. Factory focus alignment shims. Don't want to fuck with these. Alright. I'm going to, so there's a milled bit up here, right, like there. And that goes at 12 o'clock. It's to fit over the mechanism plate shell. Again. Okay. I want to do this gently so as not to disturb. I have a decision to make. So in the manual and the IVSB, we have the two double nuts like this and like this. This unit had one like this and like this, much like a Zorky or the original Leica. I don't know if that was a later redesign by Canon or something else, but I do notice that one has been milled, right? It's not a flat nut like the later on one. So I'm going to say that this is actually milled so that it fits up top here, and I am going to install it like I found it. It's important, I guess. Okay, I was wrong earlier. This is the one that's milled out, and it's milled out to get around the housing for the slow speed escapement down in the bottom of the shutter crate. I took them both out. Now this guy's in, and this one is not milled, and it's to go up here. It's interesting. I wonder why they changed it from horizontal to vertical. It's definitely easier to assemble vertical. It's less interactions with other shit around it. Let me pour out that screw for alignment purposes. Give this. I'm going to take out that screw too. Okay. And actually, okay, this goes. Come on. Okay, this guy's going to go in like that, under my control again. Push the rangefinder cam down, flip it up, look for alignment up there, pretty good. Tighten this guy down. Great, that's real tight. That's real tight. Super tight. And that one's kind of loose. Nope, that one's tight too. Okay. Put your roll in. Put your bottom on the camera. One last thing to do is double check the vertical alignment first at the desk, and the vertical alignment is spot on. Let me go to 1.5x. That's really how you tell on this one. You know, I could go a hair up. Let's do that. So the vertical alignment will affect the horizontal alignment, so it's important, save you some time, if you just do the vertical first at the highest magnification your camera allows. Okay, so that's really perfect now. Now I'm going to go outside and go look at Sandia Peak through here with a known good lens on it and check infinity. If I need to, I will adjust infinity through. This is just a cover. Take this cover off and there's the infinity setting right there. BRB. The rangefinder patch was off quite a bit. Went way past infinity. I turned it about 3/4 of a turn, maybe 2/3, and it is now perfectly accurate. I put the adjustment cover screw back on. Take this lens off, and yep, that's a CLA or a change of a shutter curtain. I guess I did not clean and lube the wind mechanism, which was already great, but maybe another time in another video you can get to that. It's pretty self-evident. Alright, get yourself a manual. It's great. Thanks for watching. Boom, boom. Here's a project I've been working on for nearly 2 months now. Actually, this is the parts camera that just came in today for my friend Charles's Pentax